What up, sports fan? This is Stephen Hill for Sports Choice Plus, and I'm bringing you a very special breakdown. Before I get right into the video, I want to make sure you're liking the video, you're subscribing to the video, and you're definitely liking the Facebook page. All three is Sports Choice Plus. You go ahead and like that and share that. I guarantee you're going to get some of the best quality content of sports each and every week. Without any further ado, we're going to get right into the topic, breaking down one of the most bizarrest off seasons right now that we've seen in a long time. The Houston Texans head coach Bill O'Brien, I don't know what his purpose is, but trading DeAndre Hopkins for basically David Johnson to the Arizona Cardinals was one of the most bizarrest trades I've ever seen. Even when you put it in on Madden, the trade did not work under no circumstances, even if you put the collateral that the Arizona Cardinals put up to get what they got with DeAndre Hopkins. It was just bizarre. When you're looking at Deshaun Watson and how he's responding to not only his teammate getting traded, but possibly the best wide receiver he's had on his team ever, you look at what are the ramifications of that. When you look at what overall Bill O'Brien's trying to do, nobody has a clue. Because he's the head coach and a general manager, he basically has to answer to nobody. The Houston Texans just gave him a big extension this offseason for basically blowing a playoff victory. And it was just different. I don't know. It's if I had to compare it to something, it would be New England Patriot-esque. When you look at just what Bill Belichick did when he's with the New England Patriots and how he gets rid of people, including this offseason, Tom Brady, and basically not giving him the acquiesced demands to make sure Tom Brady wasn't there anymore. This is right up the alley of the New England Patriots. So when it's almost like the next man up, or nobody's better than anybody else here, or we're going to treat everybody the same, that does not work really in sports. When you look at some of the best quality talent that you have on the Houston Texans, who comes to mind? When it was DeAndre Hopkins, when it's J.J. Watt, when they had Clowney, when they had Arian Foster, players like that. Those came to mind when you thought of the premium crop as far as the players that were on the Houston Texans. Now, when you look at the Houston Texans, they may be a shell of themselves. With Deshaun Watson making the cryptic tweet and things like that, you do not know what those things mean. I know he's not happy that his guy is gone and D-Hop, but when you look at what they got back, what is David Johnson essentially going to help Deshaun Watson do at this point? Because he's been injured the last 2 years, I don't know what he has to show. Maybe he could be a 1,000-yard rusher. Maybe he could help produce some things. But then you look at them making the trade for Duke Johnson and Carlos Hyde and saying, okay, are we just going to run 3 running back by committee? And when I sat down and I actually took a look at the Houston Texans roster, it was amazing to me. When I look at Kenny Stills, Will Fuller, Randall Cobb, Chad Henson, DeAndre Carter, these players are not going to be players that are going to replace what D-Hop did. When I think of the overall sum, regardless of how Bill O'Brien felt, he should have realized, okay, D-Hop may be, not my favorite player, but you have to think he can help you win football games. He can help you get to a Super Bowl. It's just crazy. And I'm thinking in the back of my mind, okay, maybe they're trying to rebuild. Are the Houston Texans thinking, okay, New England needs a quarterback? Let me trade Deshaun Watson to New England for a haul of picks or something like that? Because players that seem to speak out on the Houston Texans seem to get traded away or dealt away, whether it be cut, whether it be released, whether it be trade, things like that. And then you have players after they're traded to speak out on how he was. I know that D-Hop is playing politically correct right now, but when you think of overall everything that's going on, it's been a very bizarre offseason. And I don't know why Bill O'Brien received an extension in the first place. When you're looking at the Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson has been pretty good for them. D-Hop has been pretty good for them. And then you have a couple of different standouts on defense. But overall, I'm thinking that Deshaun Watson should request for a trade. I would not want to play for a coach that is just hearing some of the things that D-Hop's, Michael Irvin brought up, that they had a private conversation about him comparing him to Aaron Hernandez, him talking about D-Hop's baby moms. Like, it's totally inappropriate. It's totally foolishness to me. And I think that the Houston Texans are going to end up cementing themselves to the bottom of the floor of the sea if they don't continue with this foolishness. And I think that Deshaun Watson's not going to want to play for Bill O'Brien. Nobody's going to want to play for that team. And you look at just what they've built and how special this team was. They were a couple of pieces away from possibly challenging an AFC, not only only for their division, but for a potential Super Bowl, for God's sakes. So I think that this is a bad move of what they're doing, and I think the next move here, because I don't think they want to pay D-Hop more money, so they traded him. And I also think that they're not going to want to pay Deshaun Watson, that kind of money to keep him there. So it's just a number of things that goes on. And again, we're trying to think rational with someone who thinks irrational in Bill O'Brien. His claim to fame was essentially getting into it with Tom Brady. When you think about all he's done, you think about him at Penn State, and you think about all these different things, what was Bill O'Brien's claim to fame? It was getting to it on the sidelines during a football game with Tom Brady. So we can't say that he's an elite coach. We can't say that he's great at what he does as a GM. Nobody knows what's going on. If you guys know, leave your comments in the comment section. Maybe you could help me out to understand what's exactly going on. But the Houston Texans right now are almost headed to turmoil. And I look at it, if Watson requests a trade, that's going to be the end of the Texans for the foreseeable future for now. So leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you feel about the Houston Texans. Do you think Bill O'Brien's a great coach or GM, or do you think Deshaun Watson should request that trade? Feel free to leave them there and share this video in your sports group on Facebook, and make sure you're liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so very much. Until next time, peace.